this video, we're going to look at another type of searching, this time using the PAT-FT and the App-FT databases. You have to go to the USPTO's website to do this, and as you know, the website is subject to change, so it may not look exactly like this when you use this now and in the future, so you're going to have to be a little clever about finding it. Let's start now by clicking on the patent link here and looking at the drop-down. Under the application process, there's a link to patent search. Let's click on that. On the next page, we're going to scroll down and you'll see that there's a big link to the USPTO Patent Full Text and Image Database known as PAT-FT. And you'll notice that there are two black headings underneath that. One says Searching Full Text Patents since 1976, and then Searching PDF Image Patents since 1790. It's important to look at those dates. No, they are not typos. I think the difference in the two databases is that, at least going back to 1976, each of the patents were put into a database that allows different fields to be searched. Prior to that, the USPTO just took a snapshot in the form of a PDF, and then they tagged the snapshot with a limited amount of attributes. If you look under Searching PDF Image Patents, you'll see that it says searches are limited to patent numbers and/or classification codes. You can't search on other terms, whereas Searching the Full Text Patents gives you many options. And we're going to take a little closer look to that in a little bit. I also want to draw your attention to the bolded green heading right below that that says USPTO Patent Application Full Text and Image Database App-FT. Now the difference is that the first database contains patents that have been granted. Yes, they may have expired, but at one point they were valid patents. The Application Image Database contains only patents that were applied for. Maybe they were granted, maybe they weren't. The use for App-FT is that they can be used to show prior art. Now we're going to spend most of our time taking a look at PAT-FT, but a lot of the techniques we're using in PAT-FT will also work for you in App-FT. Let's take a little closer look at Searching Full Text Patents, looking at the Quick Search link, which is the first link here. The Quick Search link looks a lot like our test search. It has that very basic Times New Roman look, and you can only search for two things, term one, and, or, and not, something else. And it gives you a number of fields to look at. I'm going to put in two terms right here. Wow, it jumped to the results screen before you could see that I typed in the phrase dog toy as term one, selected the connector and used chew as my second term. Let's take a look at the big dog ball log. Sounds like one of those tongue twisters. Just to give you an idea of what we're looking for here and what we're finding. Now we're at the beginning page of the patent. You can see that the abstract is written in, well, kind of abstract language. It says, a dog toy comprised of a plurality of resilient balls relatively snugly joined in a linear configuration via an interior connecting member. And if you scroll down, you'll see the claims. This is the references that are cited. And then here's the claims, and just skimming them, you can see that there are 20. And the rest of them are also written in this rather convoluted style. For instance, a dog toy device comprising at least 2 resilient balls, each of which are end balls, each said ball adjacent to at least one other said ball. I mean, it just goes on and on. What would be most useful for me here, and for you here if you're researching this, is to see what it looks like. That would give us an idea about whether further research into the exact meaning of each of these claims is going to be relevant. So let's click on the images link here, and when you do, I already preloaded the page, you're going to come to the exact page of the original patent, and you'll see the illustration of the big dog ball log. Doesn't this make much more sense than the description that you heard of earlier? Now you can go back and take a look at the claims and see if any of them resemble what your client was trying to research. All right, so that was the quick search. Let's go back and take a look at the other search, the advanced search. Okay, clicking on the advanced search here takes us to a different looking page. While there is a query box on the top, it doesn't have those very useful drop-down list of connectors and, or, and not. Instead, you see a lot of field codes. Well, the reason you see that is because the advanced search allows you to dig more deeply into the different elements and to put together your own search. Remember, the quick search only let you look at 2 of the elements. You couldn't add more. This one lets you build up a search with as many elements as you want. However, you have to do something that looks a little techy. Take a look at the examples. See where it says TTL/ open paren tennis and open paren racket with one spelling, or racket with another spelling, close paren, close paren? What that is saying is the only field we're going to look at is the TTL field. And let's scroll down and see what TTL stands for. Oh, I guess we didn't have to scroll down very far. I thought these were going to be in alphabetical order. TTL is at the top, and it's the title. So they want you to look for something, and only in the title field, that has the word tennis and either spelling of the word racket. That's why these 2 words are in a separate set of parentheses, racket and racket, saying either one of these is fine, but it has to appear with the word tennis. Taking a look at the next one, you'll see that it says ISD/1/8/2002 and motorcycle. And ISD stands for issue date. So issue date is going to be January 8th, 2002, and there'll be something somewhere in the rest of it that says the word motorcycle. IN stands for inventor, and you can see that right here. And /Newmar-Julie means something that was invented by a woman named Julie Newmar. Notice that you have to have the name in this format, last name first, and them separated not by spaces, not by commas, but by a hyphen. So let's try to put together some searches. Let's take a look at a really famous recent inventor. Let's use Steve Jobs. Now we're going to put the field code for inventor name first, and that's IN. Then the format is that you have to have a slash afterwards, because that's what we saw in all of the examples, the field code and then a slash. And then we're going to put in Jobs hyphen Steve. And then we're going to click search. We're going to come up with a whole bunch of patents. Notice how many of these are design patents. In fact, except for patents 3 and 4, they are all design patent. So let's take a click on this first one and see what Steve Jobs helped to design. You'll notice that there are quite a lot of inventors listed here. This is pretty common for Apple products. And again, there's the references cited, quite a lot of them. And then there is a description of the design. Notice how bald this is compared to the one that we looked at that was just about a dog chew toy. This is much shorter. That's because this is a design patent. Remember, design patents are merely the way something looks, not how it functions. So this is an adequate description of a design patent. And we're going to click on images here to see exactly what this component of an electronic device is. Notice that I'm actually not seeing an image. And this is a problem with most browsers that I've ever used and the USPTO's website. They require some kind of plugin before you can see them. So this one says tap here to activate plugin. I've also seen ones where you need to download something. So we're going to tap on that. I wanted to show you the process so that you won't feel that you're doing something wrong if you run into this when you do your chance at searching this database. And let's see what shows up. So here's the actual patent, and if we scroll down, you'll see that this looks pretty familiar. This looks like the case of an iPhone 6. Now I want to take you back to look at other fields, because I want to show you something that I think is pretty interesting. Before, when we used, I'm just going to click here and go on to advanced. When we looked for Steve Jobs, we used the inventor name. Now let's take a look at the applicant name. You're thinking, well, why would that be any different? Well, let's just see if it is. So this time I'm using the field code for applicant name, typing in Jobs-Steve. And wow, we're seeing a different list of patents. You'll remember that the previous list started with 2 design patents and then had 2 non-design, and then the rest were design. But now we're seeing another non-design patent here. And this list looks a lot shorter. Why would it be shorter? It's because we chose a different field code. Let's take a look at data backup for mobile devices. This says that it's a device for using improved techniques and apparatus for managing data between a host device, e.g. a host computer, and a media device. Notice that Steve Jobs is listed here as an inventor, but he's also listed here as an applicant. In this case, Apple Inc., who all of these people worked for, is the assignee of the patent. It wasn't applied for by Apple. It was applied for by the inventors. Now, what about the one that we looked at earlier, the one that was inventor only? Let's take a look at that one again. You'll notice in this one that the inventors are in one category, but the applicant was only Apple. So if you were looking for Steve Jobs as an applicant, you wouldn't find this patent because he's only listed under inventors. That's one of the interesting things about using field codes. You can get different responses. You can also get very refined responses, but you have to think through all of the possible places where the words you're searching can be found. In this case, your search would be incomplete if you only looked for Steve Jobs as an applicant, because sometimes he's only listed as an inventor and the company he worked for is the applicant. I would like to invite you to come back to the advanced tool on your own and try to pull together searches using multiple terms such as the examples you see in the first 2 here, like tennis and racket or racket. I've showed you just the beginning of this. We could certainly spend an hour or more just going through all of the different codes, but I think it's important that you get your feet wet and you try this. Before I let you go free to do your own research, I wanted to bring your attention to, well, that's the old page. Okay, let me just go back to the USPTO's regular page, uspto.gov. Sometimes they have remnants of their old site on links, so sometimes you just have to start your search from the beginning. So we're going to go back to the patent page, well, the home page. We're going to click on patents, go to patent searches, and I wanted to show you the last difference between PAT-FT and app-FT. Both of them have quick searches, and in fact, if you looked at the app-FT quick search, you'll see it looks quite familiar. It looks a lot like the one for the PAT-FT. And if you click on the app-FT advanced search, you're going to see that it looks a lot like the one we looked at for PAT-FT, only with fewer field codes. That's because this is only for an application. However, there's one more field that differs quite substantially between the two, and that's this third one. In PAT-FT, you can put in a patent number search and come up with an actual number. And I'm going to put in something that I think will amuse you. an early patent, 6469. It says full text is not available for this patent, and the reason for that is that it is a pre-1976 patent. However, the site gives you enough information to allow you to click on the images link so you can see what there is to be seen. And you'll see that this is the original patent by President Abraham Lincoln. This is his own original patent for a manner of buoying or keeping vessels afloat, and it was patented May 22nd, 1849. If we go back to the app FT, you'll see that they don't have patent number search. They have publication number search. So if you know that a patent has been previously published, their application has been published, you can click on here and put the number in. I don't have an example to show you there. I just wanted to let you know that they are similar, these two databases, PatFT and AppFT, but not identical in their fields. And now I'm going to wish you good luck and suggest that you come in here and do your own searches.